Hello everyone and welcome to Felix's Space Time. In today's video I have an interview with Meredith Garofalo, an award-winning meteorologist and science correspondent. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Thank you so much for coming on here for an interview for today. For those who might not know you, can you tell everyone a bit about yourself?
Yes, hi, my name is Meredith Garofalo, and I am a certified broadcast meteorologist and space and science correspondent. I'm in the New York City area, and I have been doing this career field for the last 15 years. I also have a nickname of Rocket Girl, which I got starting to cover launches and do a lot of coverage in the space community that started back in 2017.
Amazing. Can you tell me a bit more about your job as a space and science correspondent?
It's a really exciting job. By degree, I'm actually a meteorologist and scientist, but through the TV broadcasting business, I've been on local news and national news here across the entire United States in my entire TV career. But I've also had an opportunity to report on anything science and STEM and space. So I go out, I do a lot of storytelling, I interview people, kind of like you're interviewing me. Sit down, I have these conversations, and I tell stories about the latest and greatest things that are going on in science and space. And it's been pretty incredible. I've interviewed some of the most brilliant minds in the space community and the science community, and I've had the opportunity to use visuals and storytelling techniques to bring to life some things that we're doing in space, such as I've interviewed astronauts on the space station. I've talked to some of the heads of NASA and other space agencies. So it's been quite an exciting career for me and quite an honor, actually, to be able to tell stories.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing the love of space. Can you kind of walk me through kind of your typical day?
Oh, yeah, work day for me. Well, if I have a story I'm focusing on, for example, I did a lot of stuff on the Launch America mission or the Artemis mission. I get my day started. I write down, what's the goal of my story, and I always want to think ahead of what do people watching my story, what do I want them to get from this? What do I want to make easy to understand? How is it going to impact them every day, whether it's that local connection angle or it's on a bigger angle, such as the exciting ways that we are moving forward with the space world. And so then I think about next, who do I need to talk to best tell the story? Is it going to be somebody participating in the project? Is it going to be somebody that's an expert, somebody that's ahead of the program? And then I pretty much reach out via email, via phone calls, LinkedIn, however I can to connect with these people and make sure I can confirm that I can get the interview. And it's not always easy. Sometimes people might not have the time or availability. So sometimes I might have to do this a few days in advance if it's somebody that I know has a really busy schedule. And then it's getting the interviews and coordinating them, whether it's going out there with the videographer and interviewing them face to face, or it's like this, it's sitting on a Zoom call and interviewing and asking the questions. And then thinking of what visuals I can use to help tell the story best, whether it's it's a rocket launch I'm covering, for example, getting previous launches, because this one hasn't happened yet, to kind of show people what they can expect, or if it's after the launch, getting those different elements that I can use to put together to really bring to life what everyone's saying, but also so people at home, whether it's a child or an adult, can understand what my purpose is of telling that story.
Wonderful. And out of all the stories you've ever covered, what's been your favorite to kind of talk about?
Well, that's definitely a hard question. I've got some really great stories I've been able to tell, but I think what I'm most excited about is just satellites, and that's kind of what got me into covering space stories back in 2017, and just how that there's so many different ways that we can use satellites to make a difference, whether it's saving lives with weather forecasting, or whether it's something as simple as connecting to internet in countries that can't, because you have the Starlink satellites that are helping provide that connectivity. But I think my favorite story has been covering the launches of the GOES satellite program, the GOES-R series. And I've had the opportunity to break down the satellite and make it easy to understand what the satellite's doing, and then actually going out and covering the satellite launch, which I have done for the last 2 out of the 3 launches for the GOES-R series.
Amazing. How many rocket launches have you watched kind of in total? And if you haven't watched any, which ones would you like to watch in the future?
Well, I've been to 2 of the GOES-R series launches, and I also covered a couple of launches for some different programs at Vandenberg Space Force Base out in California when I lived out there and worked for a TV station in Santa Barbara. But I think I want to go to some of these SpaceXs and, also the astronaut launches. I want to feel the excitement of sending people to space, because sending a satellite to space is completely different than sending an astronaut or a person to space. And so I definitely hope, my career, I'll get those opportunities to go there and to kind of tell those stories as well.
Amazing. You mentioned you got into space kind of through satellites. Can you talk a bit more about that?
I was in 2017, I was covering the GOES-R series that I just mentioned, and I was talking about how those specific satellites were helping us bring better data for weather forecasters. It's increasing the resolution, the imagery. We're getting information faster. So if there's a hurricane approaching or severe weather, we can see those storm systems developing and strengthening before they get to the area that I'm covering. And so it was just really cool to learn how this high-end technology is being developed by all of these engineers and technicians, and how together it's such a huge team to create these satellites that are making the difference. And then what it goes into getting them up in space and making sure they're in the right position and everything works, and all the testing that has to go on years before here on Earth before we can even put them in space. And it was just really an honor as a scientist to be able to tell the story, but in a way that people with non-scientific thinking, like I think, can understand it. And so it was really fun talking to people and using visuals to bring these stories to life.
Amazing. Kind of a question away from space now. A lot of kind of like news broadcasters, that kind of thing, have this kind of technique where when they talk, they don't stutter or anything. How that, because that's quite a challenge for a lot of people. So how do you kind of overcome that when you talk?
You know, I was always, as a kid, somebody who wasn't afraid to get up in front of the camera, or I could see that in my home videos, or get up on stage. And I'm a singer as well. And I think sometimes you just have to get used to it. Like everything else in life, practice makes perfect. And sometimes it was standing in front of a mirror and talking to myself, or practicing my forecasts, or practicing addressing people. And then over time, you get more experience and you do things time and time again. And then you get better at it and you get more comfortable. And I think it's just, my biggest thing is pretending I'm talking to my friends, to my family, and being comfortable with those people. And then imagining those people are in the crowds that I'm talking to.
Amazing. I think I'll have to take some tips there. What's your plans for the future?
There's a lot of exciting things that are coming up, and I can't share them today, but I can tell you that definitely the summer and the fall, I will be seeing a lot of exciting changes in my career and opportunities in my career. So my best advice now is to continue to follow me on social media, which you've got my handle, and definitely going to be continuing to share my passion for storytelling and for weather and space.
Amazing. I can't wait to hear where you go next. That's all the questions I've got for you today. Thank you so much for coming on here for an interview, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes, thank you, you too, and go space and STEM.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out my Patreon page. A link will be in the description. Bye.